Do you want more success, more growth, more results? Then it's time for the Boundless Success Accelerator from the Modern Observer Group. This isn't your average coaching program. It's where top performers come to dominate. Weekly group sessions, on-demand coaching, a community that's got your back, and a power-packed library of tools to supercharge your business and career. No more excuses, no more waiting. Get in, level up, and start building the life you've been dreaming about. Visit us at modernobserver.com/boundlesssuccess to join today. Let's get you to the next level.
Simple questions for 100 people. Welcome to the experiment. I'm Bill Correll, and this is my investigation. My research project to gather data from 100 beautiful human beings for the sole purpose to see what actually happens across the interviews. Now, the questions are fixed and all the interviews are going to remain consistent, and the variable will be the actual participants themselves and their answers. So, Mary Jane, it's as if I'm having you come sit on my porch to share your thoughts so I can learn about people. Looking forward to what we're going to find out when we're done with the whole project, but in the meantime, looking forward to hearing about you. What is your full name?
My full name is Mary Jane McQueen.
Mary Jane McQueen. Is Jane a middle name?
No, actually, I don't have a middle name. I have a two-part first name, but no middle name.
Sounds good to me. It would have been excessive otherwise.
Yes, that's what my mom said to me. Why would you need a middle name when you already had a two-part first name?
Exactly. So did you ever have any thoughts about that? Like other children had middle names, but you didn't, and
I'm the only child of 4 in my family that does not have a middle name. So and I'm the baby. I just figured maybe she got tired and didn't wanna think of it.
they were tapped out.
Yes, exactly.
So the years in therapy, is that helping at all?
Maybe.
Yeah, maybe. Okay. I hope not, because you're wonderful just the way you are. So, all right, so that's kind of neat. Mary Jane McQueen. And what's the story about where the Mary Jane came from?
Well, the Mary is, well, it's a traditional family name. There's many people in my name that has Mary in it, and because I think partly because my family, I was raised Catholic, so Mary is a very common name, and that wasn't really actually my mom just wanted to call me Jane originally, and it was my siblings that suggested that perhaps that maybe she should add in the name Mary, and hence it became Mary Jane,
I
first
like
name.
it. That's wonderful. So you did mention that you're Catholic.
Yes.
Okay. And no confirmation name?
It's funny, my confirmation name is Mary.
Oh, Mary Jane Mary. I like it.
Well, it's me my sponsor was her name was Marie, so
There you
Mary.
Yeah. Well, since we're telling tales here, my confirmation name was Joseph.
Oh, okay. Oh, Mary and Joseph. Oh my goodness, how appropriate.
There you are, between a couple of Catholics. All right.
Yes.
So, that's fantastic. What is your favorite nickname that most people don't know?
I don't most people know my nickname. Most people call me MJ because they seem to have a problem remembering Mary Jane. I get called all sorts of other names, Marianne, all sorts of things, but they seem to be able to remember MJ. So MJ, but it's not really a secret name because lots of people call me that. I don't really have another name other than that as a nickname.
That's kind of fun. Nothing from your parents growing up or from siblings? Being
Um,
the youngest, you must have had a couple of, pejorative nicknames, I'm sure.
Well, yeah, probably. My brother, who is almost 14 years older than me, he's the next up in age, so I was a bit of a surprise.
Yeah.
He used to call me Mike. I have no idea why. Mike? I have
That's
no idea. Maybe he
what a
wanted a
special
little brother. I don't know.
14 years is a good, I mean, you probably never had to worry about being bullied by anybody.
No, no. It was pretty much. It was like I was the surprise, and so I seemed to be. Um, I wouldn't say because my mother would have allowed me to be sort of let to believe that I was like the greatest thing since sliced bread, but I think probably I had a little bit more bandwidth, scope, so to speak, where not from her specifically, but from my siblings, because they kind of like, oh, she's like, look, there's a baby.
A new pet, yeah. Look at this, she coos and everything. I like it. So in my family, it was fast and furious, 6 kids in 9 years. So my mom was a convert, and there's nothing worse than a convert. So,
Oh, like my mom too.
oh really?
Yes.
That's funny. So she inflicted all of the Catholic teachings on my poor father. Now, my dad was raised Catholic, and
Mine
he
too.
wanted to be married in the Catholic Church, and so they went through all the counseling and everything and did it, and then she became really, so enough about my story, but here we are. Uh,
It's just a lot of similarities I see.
yeah, well, I guess it's ecumenical in nature, and there's probably some traditions there and all
Mhm.
that. I guess you were probably never an altar boy.
No, nor an altar girl.
Yeah, it just wasn't done, was it?
No, there were as I was when I was small, there was it was mostly older boys, but as I got a little bit older, before my confirmation, there was some girls at some parishes, the girls were allowed to also be altar servers. So
That's great. I love it. So, when did you notice first what hair color you had?
um that's an interesting question because when I was younger, my hair like it was more like a light to medium brown, but in the
Yep.
summer it always used to get like reddish highlights. I used to say that my hair was the Heinz 57 variety of hair colors because it had like dark, dark, dark brown, almost black, and it had dark brown, it had medium brown, it had red. And I'm like going, okay, well, gee,
That's
what
kind
color
of
is my hair?
yeah,
Brown.
yeah. So you had you kind of noticed there was this diversity of hair colors and going
Yeah,
on.
yeah,
Was that
and
like anyone else in the family, or was that your particular thing?
it seemed to be more my thing. The others seemed to have more standard shades. Of course, I didn't know them when they were little, and um, but I seem to have inherited a little bit more of the reddish undertones, and that's more from my mom's side of the family.
Yeah,
Red hair and freckles. That's
that's good. Those things do travel in pairs, don't they?
they do.
So, with your red hair and freckles, what's your favorite thing to do to intentionally waste time?
Intentionally waste time. Um, Probably the thing when I intentionally waste time is probably one of 2 things. Now would be more painting, but when I was a kid, it was more like, uh, reading or drawing. Those would be my 2 intentional wasting of time. I don't know if they're wasting of time, but just whiled away the hours, let's put it that way.
Yeah, whenever I'm pressed for a definition of wasting, I usually go default to this. If there's things that you know you probably ought to be doing, but you don't really care and you're going to do this instead, that's what most people would.
Well, then those would be my things.
Good. So are you artistic?
I am artistic.
That's beautiful. I didn't know that about you. So something to explore later on. Good for you.
Yes.
So these days, are you still doing art?
I am actually. I my actual profession now that I've started my well, even for 31 years in corporate, I worked in marketing as a graphic designer. So I am and now I run my own creative studio. So
Good
I
for
am
you.
still in the arts.
That's
Plus I
neat.
paint
Yeah. And what's your favorite medium?
acrylic.
Acrylic? Never did too much of that. I was more oils and watercolors.
I don't
Yeah.
have the patience for oils. Like I want to be able to I don't have the patience of it going, "Okay, I wanna paint." It's like, "Okay, don't like that? Yeah, I can go over it. I can change it. I can whatever. I can just go over top of it. I don't have to
Yeah.
wait too long anyway."
Well, I'll tell you what, whatever you get started with, that's what you're gonna do for a little while, and so I
Yes.
went a couple of those phases, but, um, did you do much in the way of, like, still lifes and, bowls of fruit and all that sort of thing?
I did that when because I went to, I took some Saturday morning art classes because I was really had an interest up from the time I was little. I don't remember a time when I didn't travel with crayons or pencil crayons or paper or whatever, wherever I went, like that was my go-to thing. Like if I was taking a bag away somewhere, that had to be what came with me. So, so yeah. So when I started out, I did a lot of stuff with still life because I learned a lot more with sketching and things like that as I went along. And
Yeah,
then they introduced other mediums, and then when they introduced acrylics to the class, I found that was something that I just loved it. I don't know specifically why that was. I just I
it's
just
got
loved
a
it
real
as much.
satisfying texture, doesn't it?
It does, yeah.
And the way it flows, it's
Mhm.
like there's a like I don't know what do you call it, jelly tempera, that's kind of almost acrylic but not quite, and
Yes.
acrylic is full blown. It's like I don't know, like ice cream.
I like that, ice cream. Ice cream on canvas, there you go.
Yeah, exactly. Well, good. And what's your favorite thing, to draw or paint now?
Primarily I do a lot of and I've done that mostly is landscapes, but I when I was younger, I I guess I went more the traditional sort of method of looking at things and stuff like that. Now I find because during my corporate career, it's one of those things where it's like you always think, "Yeah, yeah, I'll get back to it, I'll get back to it," and then you kinda set it aside for periods of time because you think, "I don't have time to do it." Um, but then when I found that I had time when I got restructured out of my corporate job, and I decided I was just felt really called to start painting again, and I find the things that I do now, they are still probably more, landscape and floral in concept, but
Yep.
I like to call them more whimsical now, like maybe brighter colors, maybe a little bit more textured, more they're more whimsical than actual I mean, they look like actual things, but they're more whimsical in style, I guess, than
That's
so
lovely. So, do you have an actual studio?
no, I wish. I wish. So I figure, right now I'm in graphic design, which of course is very creative in itself, but it's like, okay, one day I feel that maybe I'll be able to transition more into leaning into more of the painting side of things
Yes.
and less of the graphics, but who knows where it'll lead. Right now I'm happy doing creative whatever it is.
Good for you. That's fantastic. What a neat way to waste time. Thank you. So, MJ, what is your favorite movie to watch alone?
Yeah, that's an interesting question. I mean, I think it's probably changed over time. But it's funny to say, one of the most recent movies that I saw that I really loved, which sounds funny, but maybe because it has an artistic element to it too, is it's an animated movie. It was Inside Out.
Yes.
I just love I just love the emotion and the underlying message behind it. It just for me, it was just like, I like to watch it, and so it's like I think I've seen it, like, 4 times now just because it makes me feel I don't know, really connected to the message behind it.
Yeah. So for the folks at home who have not seen the movie, without giving, spoiling the ending and everything, because it's a worthwhile movie to watch, isn't it?
It
What,
is.
what would you say is the kind of the Reader's Digest synopsis of, or the cliff notes of quickly, what's it all about?
Um, for me, it's all about that connecting to, the story behind our story, right? And how the emotions and things that we might travel through in life, and how things might affect us. Um, and just what that's like is if emotions were people. It's
Yes.
basically so I just love the connectivity of the emotions as people.
Well said. And it's definitely something that everyone should watch at least once.
Yes.
But be careful because it might be habit forming.
Yes.
Good for you. So, all right, I love this question, especially for you with all of your, all of your talents. If you were to have an action figure made of you, what superpower would it have, and what colors would its uniform be?
Um, yeah, well, what its superpower would be, I guess it's not my underlying mission for what I do, even for my business and working with clients now, and just my general outlook in life is the superpowers would be kindness, empathy, and compassion.
Kindness, empathy, and compassion. I love it. Yes.
And the colors, well, of course, somewhere in there, because, well, it's the color of idealism anyways, but it's also my favorite color. It has to have purple in it of some description.
A
It's
royal purple or a different one?
um well, I like all shades of purple, but I think my superpower hero would probably have a rich, like a really royal purple color,
Oh,
a deep purple.
oh yeah.
And maybe a little bit of red thrown in there because that's my second favorite color. So there you go.
It's your uniform. It can be whatever you want.
Yes.
So now you've got these superpowers in this killer outfit. What are you going to do with them?
Well, my superpower, I'm going to um hopefully radiate that out into the world. Kindness to self first, and then radiating that out to others and spreading that mission of empathy and compassion. Because for me, that's what's going to change the world. So that's what superheroes do, right?
Yes, they do. They do. And the world does need a little changing right now, doesn't it?
Yes.
A smidge. Yeah.
Just a switch. Kindness, empathy, and compassion. Yeah, I could use a little of that right now, I think.
Thank you. Yes. All right. So I understand. And then because of that, the world will be a better place.
Mhm.
N- Now, what did you want to grow up to be when you were 5 years old?
When I was 5, I think I more often than not, if I was like, if it's funny because I have, of course, because I'm the baby of the family by a lot, I had a nephew that was 6 weeks older than me. And so often, much as he wasn't big on school, I like to be a teacher. So a teacher was probably, I would say, my first around 5 when I would thought I'll be a teacher. So maybe I am a teacher of some description, just in a different way than I thought.
I have a feeling that that's how the folks around you regard you, at least a little bit. So, what was it about teaching that you thought was so attractive?
Um, I think I liked that idea of sharing knowledge with people, and just because I don't, yeah, I've always had that sense of like that kindness was the way to go, and I don't mean in a like a nice way, but in a just being kind to people, like listening and hearing what they had to say. And so I think there was some element of that because I guess some of my early teachers, especially, expressed that same nature, and that was something that really resonated with me. Like it seemed like a logical fit to me at that age, especially.
Yeah. Precocious 5-year-old for sure, no doubt about it. So, all that, and what is your greatest accomplishment?
I think for me, my greatest accomplishment is, well, it's really hard to say. Um, Staying true to myself and reconnecting with that self, because it took a while after I was restructured out of my corporate job to remember, who am I? Who am I away from that? Because I'd been doing it for so long, it was like second nature. It was like it was hard to separate that, and
Yeah.
reinventing myself. Um, recognizing what my strengths were and that I didn't have to do it for somebody else. I could do it for me and help people that I felt connected to.
I have a feeling that was an interesting journey.
Oh, it was an interesting journey for sure. It was a whole grieving process in and of itself, because it was like a part of me died. I'm like, who am I now? Who am I now? And I'm like, I know I had things that I could share with people, that I had value, but it took a while to work through that process and sort of come to terms with understanding who I was without the job.
Yeah. So, it sounds to me like, having gone through that, that you might have a wonderful message to give to other people who are in a job
Hmm.
that they love, that's routine, or they hate, or they love, and they what all that, but
Yeah,
but
all of the above.
yeah, like, starting to explore who are you
Hmm.
at an early age as opposed to after trauma.
Yes. Yeah, and listening when you're getting nudges, because I mean, for me, although the overall things, I learned many valuable lessons there, and I'm able to take those away and still apply them to my business now. I mean, for the last 2.5 to 3 years of my corporate thing, I was in a position of being corporately bullied. So it was like, listening to my intuition saying, this is ridiculous. Why are you putting up with this? Why are you putting up with this? And just taking
Yeah,
that and realizing that I'm not the only person that this is happening to. And, it's okay. Sometimes you just need to take more value in yourself, and to walk away and find out who you are without that job. So whether you're pushed out, so I figure the universe has a really good sense of humor, because it tapped me on the shoulder for like 3 years and then finally said, okay, you're obviously not listening to me.
smack. 2 by 4 right straight to the temple. I agree
Hmm.
with you. Congratulations on the choice, first of all, and then actually bringing it into being, to where you do have some self-value and some self-understanding.
Yeah.
That is a great accomplishment, I say.
Thank you.
You're very welcome. So, who is your favorite person to listen to?
I'm assuming we're talking about podcasts and the like, or who am I listening to? Right?
Any
Anybody?
Yeah.
Um, right now, I've been listening a lot to anybody that I find has like an inspirational sort of message that sort of like speaks to my heart. And I really enjoy listening to the candid conversations that Mel Robbins has on her podcast. Just she has a very quirky sense of humor, which I can I can relate to, because so do I. In case you hadn't seen it already, um, and but yeah, I really enjoy her messaging.
Yeah, I agree. Your sense of humor is endearing. I don't know Mel Robbins all that much, but if you're similar, I would imagine I would enjoy her as
She's
well.
very candid and very, she speaks from the heart. I really, I like that.
Yeah. Any particular messages that kinda ring home, other than the sense of humor and being candid?
Um, it just the way that she's all about empowering people, and helping people to sort of sense the powers that they have within, and I haven't read it yet, but I know she recently wrote a book called Let Them. So I'm quite curious to pick up that book and read it because I feel that there's going to be really good nuggets in there of, you know, let
Yeah,
them say what they want to say. Let them do what they want to do.
yeah, that's interesting. I saw her title. I now have some idea of who Mel Robbins is on Facebook.
Hmm.
There was something about a book that was just released called "Let Them," and
Yeah, and
I,
that's her.
yeah, I mean that just
She's
brings so
probably
much.
a veteran of Oprah, so that tells you something, doesn't it?
It does. It does. All right, so that's a great person to listen to.
Mhm.
Please complete this sentence. When I grow up, I'd like to.
Assuming that I haven't grown up yet, right? I'd like to see more of the world and learn more about the people of the world. I mean, I've done some of that already, but I have a natural curiosity as to culture and people and places. And I always like to understand the nuances, not just the surface levels of the nuances of what makes people the people they are.
Yeah.
I love people.
What a great question. What makes people the way that they are? You know,
Yes. Well, that's
yeah,
it.
you can study that one the rest of your life.
Well, exactly. And I feel that this has always been from when I was a kid. I remember thinking to myself, it's like, why do people always focus in on the difference between us rather than focusing on the things that make us the same? Because those things are the empowering things. The other stuff is just rhetoric and crap, as I
Yeah,
like to call it. So
yeah, good for you. Sounds like we're in the same business. What is what is the most important thing in life to you right now?
um for me, it's just growing and learning and exploring and really like embracing my superpowers, realizing that the things that corporate told me to be about are my superpowers. And so just really embracing that, embracing who I am in my entirety, not that's just the thing that other people think I am, but who I really am here, my
Yeah,
heart.
yeah. I just wonder how much of what you know about yourself do other people really get to see?
I think they get to see more of it now, just in the different things that I'm doing, both in my business and the self-care, self-love, or self-kindness workshops that I do with my friend Jan Jeremiah. So that's it's one, I think people get to see that, and that's one thing. A lot of people, not with prompting, but a lot of people have said that I bring such an energy of just kindness to the space I'm in, and just like being a place where people feel safe to be vulnerable. And that
Sure.
to me is a blessing.
Yeah, it means that what you're doing in the world is actually getting across to them because it's coming back to you.
Yeah, but at first it was kind of surprising to me because I thought, well, I'm just being me. And then I thought, oh, I'm just being me.
That's a gift. Your genuineness is not about attention on yourself. It's about, expressing yourself. And
Hmm.
they're two things. It's I can see that. Plus you hang out with cool people.
Of course.
Yeah, why not, right? Life is short.
Exactly. You might as well make it fun while you're here, right?
100%. So, with that in mind, what would you like to leave in the world after your life is done?
It's funny. I got asked that question recently, and it all falls back, I think, to what I was sharing earlier about my mission and vision. And so it's like spreading kindness, empathy, and compassion in this world. I would like to leave those as the things that people, the children coming up behind me and others, I would like to leave that in the world.
Yeah.
Some positivity, some feelings that you are enough just as you are.
Yeah, and I'll tell you what, that's such a great message.
Mhm.
It's such a great message, and that's a message we should be teaching children,
Yes.
you know? My
Mhm.
goodness, you got me. Um, so, all right, so that's our 12 scheduled questions, and of course, being me, I had to make sure, like a good baker, that there's a 13th question for free, right?
Uh-huh.
You get 12
Yeah.
donuts, mean, well, all that, right? So here's your baker's question. What is the thing that most people misunderstand about you?
I think sometimes, people, I know at least in the past, people have misunderstood that because I have the thing of kindness and empathy towards people, it means that, that maybe I don't have, they look at it as like, "Oh, she's so nice," but it's like, "No, it's not that I'm not nice, but it's just at the same time, it's not just being nice." It's like they misunderstand that, I will stand up for myself as well when it's the occasion comes when that's necessary to do so. And I think that's also important because that's being kind to yourself, not letting yourself be the doormat, right? So that's a hard lesson that I had to learn, and more because I would keep that to myself and not express it, but, I've learned over time, especially the last several years, that that's an important thing to share. So, yes, I am nice and kind, and I that's my, thing, but that doesn't mean that you should take advantage of me in either. So that's kind of one of those scenarios. It's like, yeah, I can stand up for myself.
Yeah, if you think Mary Jane is a pushover, good luck with that. Yeah.
Yeah, 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 exactly. She has a strong personality underneath of there, even though, but the underlying mission is always the same.
Yeah, I guess once you learn where the volume controls are on life, you can amplify whatever behavior
Mhm.
you want to or any emotion.
That's
And
right.
especially after you've decided to know yourself.
Yes. Yes, exactly. It's like, "Ooh, okay, where'd that come from?"
Kinda like it.
Yes.
Excellent. So that completes all of the questions that I've got for you today in this experiment.
Mm.
But I will ask you, do you have any questions of me?
Yeah, I mean, what made you decide to do this series with asking these questions? Because it's quite interesting, like, they're so varied in their dynamic. I'm like, where's that come from?"
It's also very scientific, I can tell you
Oh, yes,
that.
I'm sure.
Yeah. Well, I had started another podcast back in 2020, which was more of a reaction to what was going on, uh, with the nonsense with burning buildings and all of
Yeah,
that, whatever. And I really wanted to put another message out to the world, that life is worth living, and it's worth living as an empowered human being.
mm,
Uh, so that's lighting the candle a world that works, which
right.
coincidentally, your partner in crime is also my twin on that particular
Yes,
broadcast.
exactly.
So, she wasn't back then, but I don't know, probably about a year on, I got interested in the whole notion of identity and identity politics, and I thought to myself, I've known a lot of people. I'm very good with people, and I don't see that the outward appearance has any damn thing, at all to do with who they
Mhm,
are on the inside. And I also
absolutely.
don't believe that people, because of how they look, think differently than everybody else. I think they could be, so I had my hypotheticals, and I had my scientific approach to the question. what really makes people tick? What are are we more alike than disparate? Are there really certain things that some people have to, by nature, with who they are, be that way?
Yes.
And so that's really what I'm very interested in finding out here. And I'm like, I think you're number 54 or number 55. I'm
Wow.
yeah. So I know it's wonderful. I've spoken to so many different people from all walks of life, all nationalities, you name it. And I I think the rewarding part of it for me is I started out wanting to really know and to be able to talk with some degree of having done the work, to my two grandchildren that are growing up right now,
Hmm.
or just preteens, and one just turned a teenager this year. I want to be able to say things to them, and be able to say it with some weight, as opposed to coming at them from who I am, but
Yes.
having done some investigation into the thing. So
Yeah, and having an understanding, right? A knowledge and understanding.
absolutely, it's one thing to have an idea and state something as if it's correct and right, and then it's another thing to go out and put it in water and see if it floats, right?
It's true. Yes.
So I love people, so that's natural, and I absolutely love to find out about people, and I love to connect with folks, and this is a great
Mhm.
way.
Yeah. Well, that's awesome. Well, I can definitely resonate with that message because that's pretty much the way I am too. I love, as I was saying, I'd really love to understand the nuances of people.
Yep. Hence my comment about we're in the same businesses.
Yes. We are.
So I've loved this time together and I absolutely appreciate you. You're delightful.
Thank
And I
you.
want to thank you for coming on the podcast. You are just
Sure.
a marvelous, genuine person. And um, again, just thank you. Anything that you'd like to say to the folks before we say goodnight?
All I would really like to say is all of what I do is, and while I know Bill shares this too, obviously, is it's just, go out there, spread a little kindness, start with yourself and radiate that outwards because that's really what I feel is going to change the world.
Yeah, absolutely. Fantastic. So we're simple questions for 100 people. And I want to ask you all to take me up on this. Please contact somebody that you know and love, and let them know. I mean, send them a email, text, telephone call, carrier pigeon, whatever. But let them know that your world works because they are in it, and that if you ever, if there's ever a moment of need, that you'll be there for them. That all they need to do is call. Thank you so much, MJ, and thank you, folks at home. Love you all, and bye for now.
You've been listening to Simple Questions for 100 People, part of the Exvadio Podcast Network. You can catch every episode of Simple Questions, plus the rest of the network, at exvadio.com, the Apple Podcasts app, YouTube, Spotify, iHeartRadio, Audible, Amazon Music, and wherever you find podcasts.